Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the Twin Astrology forecast for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. And so this energy forecast is for July 24th all the way through July 30th. And so I do feel we've got some powerful energies once again playing out this week. The highlight would be the fact that Venus and Chiron both just stationed retrograde this past weekend, and so we've all been feeling it. You've probably noticed the energy shift. I know this morning I've had this massive pressurized headache all within the third eye and the crown chakra, and so I do feel there's this deep push for healing between the twin flame dynamics. And so there's a lot of karmic shadowy energy coming up, especially with Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo and Chiron stationing retrograde in Aries. There's a lot of fire and a lot of air, I feel, playing out, fueling the fire. And so there's going to be a lot of outsider disturbances connected to the karmic feminine, I feel, playing out this week. And so we also have Pluto opposing the sun. So this is creating a lot of challenges when it comes to these historical and past life timelines when it comes to darkness and owning our inner strength and our spiritual power properly. And so Venus retrograde, this is going to be the first full week of Venus retrograde, and we're going to be going through this energy for the next 6 weeks, along with Chiron in retrograde, which is the wounded healer energy. And so I do feel these two energies combined are bringing forward this cosmic push to heal these divine counterpart relationships. And so I do feel the past is in focus. I know there's a lot of cosmic energies playing out when it comes to people showing up from the past. I've been bumping into all kinds of people from the past lately, unexpectedly. Even on the weekend, I was out of town on a weekend getaway with the kids, and I bumped into a guy I went to high school with many, many years ago. So I do feel the past is in focus. I had to kick Kitty out of here. So I do feel the past is in focus. And so any repeated relationship experiences when it comes to certain themes where we felt abandoned or rejected, I also feel is coming up for some level of clearing. So we can get to the root cause, which would be the Chiron aspect. And so all of this likely involves some type of shadow work when it comes to childhood experiences, childhood wounding. And so oftentimes we can't fully remember the original wound until we are triggered into being shown the original wound, usually within a karmic connection. And so with all of this fire energy I feel playing out, this is going to bring forward a lot of triggers, a lot of triggering people coming on our path, especially when it comes to getting to the deep cause of these wounds, these patterns, and where we've been playing into all of these limitations, because the twin flames are very powerful manifestors and co-creators. And so I feel as the feminine kind of steps into this very enthusiastic, open, passionate energy, because a lot of the feminines, we've done the self-integration, we've done the self-shadow work, especially when it comes to these romantic partners and romance and understanding patterns in our own abandonment wounds and rejection wounds. And so I do feel now is where the masculine goes into feeling all of these very unpleasant energies so he can take action towards healing these connections. And so I do feel we're in a very divinely guided period of transformation, especially leading up to the Lionsgate portal. And so ultimately, I do feel we are so close to twin flame reunion, but we kind of got to get through these oppositions that are kind of pushing us beyond our limitations. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines have recently been shown what is happening, why it's happening, what they need to do to embrace this spiritual evolution and their spiritual karmic path with the divine feminine, especially when it comes to the twin flame connection. And so what the masculine is being asked to do right now is going to be essential. And we do need to remember these divine masculines do still have free will. But I feel the cosmic energies kind of brewing are saying they cannot keep spiritually bypassing. I feel that is a very big message when it comes to learning these lessons. And so it's essential that we don't continue to spiritually bypass moving forward. And so Chiron has been in the sign of Aries since 2018. And I know for me, that is when my twin flame journey began, was in the spring of 2018. And so it's going to still stay in Aries until 2026, when it then will shift into Taurus. And so my Chiron wound, my core wound, is in Taurus, along with my counterpart. And so the Chiron and Aries energy has really been encouraging the twins to heal any self-identity wounds, to be able to find our voice, to activate our throat chakra, to reclaim our power, to reclaim our voice. And as I say that, I'm getting a throat tickle. So that was a big message. Sorry I had to pause it, but we're being asked as twins to fight for our truth, to stand up for who we are, and to clear all of our karma throughout all of our lifetimes. And so we're here to mend these connections. And I do feel the masculine's bruised ego throughout this process has shown us how to go for the win without obsessing over the losses. And that was a big thing, right? When we go into separation, I know the feminines go into the obsession spiral because we don't understand why this person has activated us, and we kind of get obsessed because of the intensity of the magnetic pull. And so we have to stop obsessing over the separation, get to a place of acceptance. And so I do feel this Chiron retrograde, along with the Venus retrograde, is really getting us to look at our past failures. I feel the masculine is really looking at the past failures in his life with a renewed sense of love and light that the feminine has kind of illuminated for him on this journey. And so it's the energy of, like, you know, the masculine's kind of been slowly picking at the scab of the old wound, and he's not been doing the healing journey correctly. He's been masking, he's been running, he's been trying to deflect all of these wounds and return them back to the feminine instead of going into the source of the pain to determine, you know, how to return back to our infinite power, our infinite divine source. And so I do feel there's been enough time that has gone on within these separations. There's been enough time that this retrograde is the final reflection on what needs to heal in order to develop to the next level within these unions. And so I do feel we're in this long-awaited experience of this cosmic hug. And so I do feel the masculine, you know, had tried to forget, had tried to stuff all of these feelings down. And the fact of the matter is the divine feminine truly does hold the key to the masculine's heart. And so with Venus in retrograde, I do feel we're kind of into the thick of it. I feel we'll be in the thick of it July 6th through 9th, surrounding that Lionsgate portal. I feel that's going to be the intensity, the peak of Venus retrograde, because that is when it's going to be conjunct Lilith. And so Venus retrograde is going to be conjunct Black Moon Lilith throughout the retrograde, but it will be exact and most intense during that period of time. And so what many masculines are going to be experiencing over this retrograde is going to be states of emotional catharsis. And so what is emotional catharsis, right? And so it's a process where we kind of display our emotions in all of their rawness, and it's a release. And I do feel they're dealing with quite a dramatic karmic feminine in a very negative way, in order to get the masculine to liberate themselves. And I do feel a lot of these karmics are very toxic, and they quite often display a lot of dramatic emotional energies in order to get the masculine to stop repressing all of these feelings that they've really been feeling towards the feminine. And so a lot of the masculines haven't really gone into actually feeling the connection. They've been trying to think their way through the connection. And so I do feel as they keep suppressing all of these emotions, it's really going to get them into trouble this retrograde, because all of this containing, all of this denying of these feelings, when we suppress our true feelings for a long time, eventually they erupt like a volcano, right? We can't bottle up these feelings. It's kind of like the analogy, like be a bottle of water, not a bottle of pop, right? And so when we shake a bottle of water and we open it up, it's not going to explode because we've done the inner shadow work and we're balanced. We're mutable in the water and we're good, right? You shake a bottle of pop and you go to pop it open, well, it's going to explode because of all of that pent up emotion, right? And so I do feel the masculine is going to be taking a lot of people by surprise this retrograde, and maybe even the karmic taking the masculine by surprise this retrograde. And so Venus is trying to bring forward all of this emotional catharsis and releasing. It's like this wild card energy I feel playing out, especially when it comes to Leo, because Leo is all about the heart, and it can be wildly obsessively passionate about something even if it's not healthy, right? And so Leo's all about me, 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 me. It is the sign of the self. It is the sun. It is the vitality. And I know me as a Leo North Node, I really don't care what others think of me. I just want to come on. I want to express myself. I want to express my spiritual journey to all of you. And so I do feel when we go back to the Lilith energy too, Lilith does represent Adam's first wife. And so we're clearing the Adam and Eve template collectively. And we are returning to the state of the original twin flames. And so let's face it, the divine feminine is not here to be submissive. And that is why Lilith was cast out of the Garden of Eden, because she was not going to be submissive. She wanted to be an equal. She wanted to be a pure expression of her divine feminine spirit unleashed. And so Lilith is saying, hey, divine masculine, you bit and ate the forbidden fruit. And now you're going to need to liberate yourself from this very unhealthy distance that you've created between you and your counterpart. And so I do feel there's going to be a lot of repressed desires coming forward, expressed in the physical reality coming up here this retrograde, especially when Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. But I feel the masculine right now is going into the depths of facing his darkest self, all of these deep, dark secrets within him that he's repressed, that he's been afraid to acknowledge when it comes to these emotions, and where he's felt criticized and misunderstood when it comes to taking action. And so, you know, the feminine is here to seek equality within relationships, to understand her dark feminine side and how to use it to her advantage, because dark does not always equal negative, but it does if we don't acknowledge it and integrate the lesson. And so we cannot suppress our emotions, because eventually they erupt, they come out in unprecedented ways. And with Venus retrograde also squaring it up with Uranus and Taurus, two very fixed energies, we're like, it's this energy of the thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. And there was some phenomenal thunderstorms over the weekend in my local area. And so I do feel there's going to be this illuminating energy, this like obvious flash of insight when it comes to truth, because Uranus only cares about truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And so how are we going to get through these very intense energies, right? Because all of these energies are combined. They're bringing forward all kinds of unpredictability within emotions, because we're here to seek freedom. So I do think it's going to be quite a ride coming up here the next couple of weeks. And I just feel all of this pressure because the masculines have avoided what's been coming up until now. And now we kind of have to deal with all of this energetic buildup when it comes to these bottled up feelings. And I do think things are going to be raw. Things are going to surface no matter what. There's going to be no way around it. And so we're going to have to work with the energies rather than against it. And so we also have the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are square Pluto. And so this is very karmic energy, right? This is where we have to go back. We have to look at where we've skipped a lesson, where we've skipped a step. And we're going to have to rewrite our karmic past. We're going to have to go into dealing with these karmic soul connections, deconstructing all of these toxic behavioral patterns in order to rewrite a healthier story moving forward. And so get ready to understand how your upbringing, how your childhood really has affected your self-identity, how you've built your own family throughout the years. I do feel we're in this portal gateway of this huge opportunity for the twins to release all of these karmic soul contracts, all of these karmic patterns that we've been carrying for lifetimes and decades within our own ancestral lineage once and for all. And so I do feel like we're just getting into the thick of it. We're definitely not out of the woods yet. And so how can you re-examine your approach? So how can you go through some much needed self-reflection for some type of cleansing? Because I do feel a lot of the masculines have really bit off more than they can chew at this point in time. And so I do feel we're in this collective period of massive death and transformation. I went outside this morning with my coffee to sit out with Bailey, and I always scour the yard to clean it up, right? And I found this feather in the middle of the yard. And so this is a pretty rare feather. Normally I get a lot of blue jay feathers. This looks like almost like an owl feather. I kind of looked it up. That was the closest feather I could come to a conclusion with. And so it was like a reminder for me that my intuition is correct. And so maybe that's a reminder for all of you to follow your inner wisdom without fail, because it is not going to let you down. So let's go a little bit deeper into the book with the owl energy. And then we're going to start pulling in with some cards. The owl. So the owl does represent grounding, truth, and a choice. Very interesting. Grounding, truth, and a choice. Intuition, listening, and awareness. So the owl says, hey, it's time, twin flames, to start seeing things using our higher psychic senses. And so the owl message here today is to assure you that your intuition is 100% correct. And the darkness and the murkiness that surrounds whatever karmic situation that the masculine is in is just merely a perception. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines are beginning to access their intuitive skills to see things clearly, coming out of the murkiness, coming out of the state of disillusionment that they've been in. And I do feel they're listening, they're seeing things clearly. And they do have this deep feeling that they need to clear this separation in order to come together with the divine feminine. And so a lot of the masculines have been resisting listening to this inner wisdom. And so the owl is, I feel, urging the masculine to go within the darkness, to find the light within the darkness, and to embrace every part of who they are. And so I just feel incredible vision. It is also linked to the ancient goddess Athena. Imagine that. Athena's spirit animal was an owl. She carried an owl on her shoulder. That was her companion, who represented wise counsel. And so the twins are here to reveal these deeper esoteric secrets for the collective. It is a very powerful symbol of the divine feminine, the moon. And so prophecy. A lot of us are here to bring forward divine prophecy. So let's jump in with some cards. Let's see what else is going to be coming through for the Twin Flame Collective for the week ahead. And let's jump right in. We get the allowance with the emergence. And so the emergence, it's like the energy of coming out of the cocoon. We're ready to spread our wings. We're ready to approach this 5D earth reality from a state of innocence, right? And so are you ready to be open to whatever comes your way? I actually had that conversation this morning. I was getting all my clients booked in that messaged me over the weekend while I was away. And we were chit-chatting back and forth, me and another divine feminine, and that was part of the conversation. I'm just open to whatever comes my way this retrograde without judgment, right? So we have to release fear. We have to release resistance if we are going to allow our divine counterpart to come forward. And we have to allow whatever comes our way for clearing this retrograde, right? Even if it's not the counterpart. But I do feel we're in this massive transition stage. It's the octopus energy, which is the energy of like the devil, right? And so when we're surrounded by the devil, it's like all of these arms trying to grab us and grasp us into something toxic. And so we're transitioning the very nature of our 3D existence through these connections. And so there's a deeper understanding coming forward when it comes to what it is we need to let go in order to fully surrender to the process of the divine masculine emerging, I feel. So let's see what else needs to come through for the twins. Third eye. Well, I feel it. I feel all of this third eye pressure. So we've been receiving all kinds of high frequency light codes. I know I spent the entire day out on the lake yesterday, out on the boat, just soaking up the rays, soaking up the sun. And so I do feel that is probably a result of the pressure in the third eye. But I feel as we kind of fully lean into our intuition, into this deep spiritual inner knowing, and we really enhance our imagination, our psychic powers grow. So third eye, look at that, and synergy. So there is a lot of twin flame synergy supporting the acceptance of this connection, which I feel for a lot of the masculines really was not so obvious when they went down the karmic pathway. And so we're entering a collective time period for the twins of these never before seen unions in such a way that we are going to rework, rethink, and refunction society as a whole. And so how we relate to love, how we relate to just being in the moment. So I feel there's a lot of remembrance. There's a lot of unfamiliarity when it comes to this remembrance as we kind of exit the 3D co-creation and we give birth to this new 5D reality. And there's the crown chakra. I told you, that's what I felt. So a lot of higher frequencies supporting these spiritual connections. And we're transmuting all of this negative energy back into the light. So let's see what else needs to come through with the spiritual journey. Accountability. And that's a big one, right? And so that is part of the healing journey for both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, is complete and total accountability. We cannot keep projecting, deflecting, and blaming everybody else for what it is that we've created in our life. Yes, bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. Sometimes bad things happen for no reason at all. But when we fully take accountability and we can look in that divine mirror, we can wipe it clean. We look at ourselves without any judgment filters, without any blame, and we take total ownership. That's when we can fully step into the future. And so, coursework. We're here to expand our spiritual knowledge. We're here to, the spiritual journey is a lifelong journey. The spiritual studies, you could go your whole lifetime studying spirituality, and there's always going to be more. Same with astrology. I just find it so fascinating that my astrology vocation and what I do is there's always something more to learn. And so expanding our knowledge, maybe going back to school. I'm being shown the Page of Pentacles. So, it's like a new start, learning something new is what I'm feeling, to ignite some passions. And so I know, I remember that awakening. It was just like, oh, I had so many ideas. I was so uplifted in the heart, in the mind. I was so invigorated with creativity. And so the twins are here to do work connected to their spirituality. And so we are at a massive pivot point. We are at a massive fork in the road when it comes to these twin soul unions this week. And so this is the week where I do feel an important, substantial decision is going to have to be made. And it's going to be impactful when it comes to the twin soul unions. And so, you know, this is very complex. You know, these connections come in to break away everything that is false in your life. We lose people, we lose places, we lose things, we lose our homes oftentimes, we lose our businesses, we lose a lot of things on this journey when we come in contact with our divine counterpart. And the mission is kind of activated. And so these complexities that we go through is to get us to shed all of these core beliefs that we need to strip away, like shedding of the skin, in order to bring this unconditional love into the world. And so I do feel a lot of the divine masculines are awakening to their healing capabilities. A lot of these masculines are very, very gifted healers, astrologers. A lot of these masculines are healers. They hold the Jesus code. And so I do feel the masculines are awakening to this awareness of the twin flame consciousness. And that's kind of happening, going through a soul identity crisis as part of this awakening, and to explore their healing work. And then there's that accountability. And so a lot of the masculines have really avoided the accountability on the healing journey. And so now it is about total ownership of the past in order to rewrite the future. So we're going to see what else needs to come out with this deck. Sometimes the bottom of the deck really is loud with the messages. So visions. So there's that third eye energy coming through again. A lot of the twins receive very prophetic visions about the new earth we're here to manifest. And so I do feel a lot of the masculines have been shown a lot in their third eye recently, and they've had a gut feeling about where they've been at, that maybe they can't trust somebody. They've been ignoring it, and now they're seeing clearly, right? A lot of the masculines are deep in a state of like Five of Pentacles, aloneness. They have to learn to be at peace in the state of aloneness of their own company. It's kind of like the hermit energy coming through Virgo. When we are at peace with who we are, what we've gone through, we've forgiven ourselves for hurting others, we've forgiven those for hurting us, then all of this loneliness kind of does cease to exist. And that's when we can fully be present in the presence of who we are. And that is when these relationship dynamics can shift in a very powerful way. And so I do feel an awareness of the greater purpose that the twins share together, a realization of, you know, why the masculine had to meet the feminine, why he got involved in this spiritual journey, and surrendering and releasing the ego, because the divine has a plan more powerful than the masculine's egoic agenda. And so it is kind of feeling like a tower. So let's pull in with some tea leaf messages. I just want to keep you in the loop, guys. I do plan on finishing off the rest of the zodiac signs for August, but I have a very busy week with clients, and me and my girls, we have a hair appointment on Thursday. So just be patient as I work to get those out. So we have unsettled times with the kangaroo energy. And the shield came out. We got a lot kind of just fell out. And so I do feel the masculine is in this energy of needing to defend himself. He really didn't plan ahead. Things are very unsettling. And I just feel like he can't just jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next anymore, is what it feels like. And so slowly but surely he will get ahead. But I do feel unsuccessful issues. Unsuccessful plans in the karmic contract. We got the happiness card with the axe and the rainbow. And so I just feel like after the storm does come the rainbow. And so I do feel the most difficult part of that karmic cycle for the masculine is likely over. And he is focused on happiness, joy, spirits guiding him towards happiness, I feel. But I do feel that karmic, she's like working against the masculine, unbeknownst to him. And so I do feel the masculine is very goal-oriented at this time, but he does need to be aware of greed. Whether it's the karmic after his money, but a lot of the masculines did choose money over love. And that greedy energy always will come back to bite you. And so the masculines have been slow when it comes to closing this out. And I do feel like there's just this massive karmic entanglement that the masculine is going to have to overcome this week. There's some challenges to overcome before he can go towards that great happiness. And so pay attention to your work. I do feel a lot of the twins are here to work together, mission work together. And I do feel like, man, this has been a journey, right? This has been quite a journey, both physically, spiritually, and mentally. And so there's the flame. So we are on the precipice of collective spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding of these connections. And we're about to give birth to a brand new life. And so we're like the egg. It's like the cosmic egg, right? And so hasn't quite broken wide open yet, because all of these hidden secrets kind of have to come to light. The skull energy, the death. And so all of these hidden emotions, these secret hidden emotions, are going to cause a lot of harm because of the repression. Let's jump in with some tarot and we'll see what else needs to come through. Look at that. So it's like so much resistance to releasing the toxicity, right? We've been dancing with the devil for many lifetimes. The masculine's been caged, feeling like a clown, feeling like a fool for many lifetimes, dancing with the devil. And that all does go back to the garden, right? If you think about it, Lilith left the garden and she befriended Lucifer. And so there's been a lack of balance. There's been a lack of healing. Temperance comes after the death card. Temperance in reversed is like so much resistance to this death, to this ending, to this change. I do feel addictions here, obsession, a need to get a grip on the obsession, any addictive energies at all whatsoever. A lot of Sagittarius, Capricorn energy, right? Well, there's that unavoidable change. And so we can't keep dancing with the devil, right? Because it's not sustainable. It's, you know, instant gratification. It doesn't bring long-term success. It brings greed. You know, a lot of unhealthy desires attached to the devil energy. And with Pluto retrograding Capricorn, we're having to face this one last leg. And so this is unavoidable change. And a lot of these masculines have avoided this change up until now. And well, when the lightning strikes and the thunder rolls, somebody's going to have to, you know, break free from something that they've been chained to, something toxic. So let's see what needs to come through for the twins for the week ahead. The sun reverse. There's that Leo energy in reverse. And so I do feel there's going to be a lot of ego battles in the energies. Wow. Wow. When it comes to these imbalances. And so that is also the South Node in Libra energy coming through with the Six of Pentacles. We got the sun reversed, the Six of Pentacles. We got the moon. The moon represents the shadow, what is hidden. You see the mirror. And so we are here to integrate our wild and our tame and to be a healthy expression of both, right? Dogs can be very loyal. Wolves can be very singular, lonely energy, right? Very wild, but wolves will mate for life. And so I do feel the mirror being activated for the divine masculine when it comes to the fears. Pisces energy, Taurus energy, Leo, and we get the death. And so this is the week of the shedding, of the endings. We're breaking free from this lacking of vitality. And as an empath, you know, if you're in a toxic karmic cycle, you will be zapped of all of your vitality. And so a lot of the masculines have been playing into their ego, not listening to the compass of the heart. And I do feel a major wake-up call. I feel a waterfall of emotions is about to burst open in order for a major completion, a major ending, and receiving that communication. Any other messages for the twins? We get the Queen of Swords. So there's the karmic feminine. I feel that's that emotional catharsis. Wow. If that doesn't scream emotional catharsis, I don't know what is. I do feel the karmic's looking for a fight. I do feel angry, lashing out, jealousy, possessiveness, controlling energy. And I do feel the masculine is going to have to defend himself. And I do feel that's going to be the biggest block. This retrograde is going to be the karmic feminine, because the Queen of Swords reversed, the Queen of Wands reversed. This is nasty. This is a liar. This is a master manipulator. This is somebody, that, hunts down men for sport. Somebody that doesn't know her worth, doesn't know her value. There could be slandering here, defamation of character playing out here. Definitely very angry, jealous, possessive outbursts. And with the Seven of Wands upright, I just feel the masculine's in the fight of his life. This retrograde energy, and all of this is triggering him to take action towards the reunion with the feminine, right? Towards the reunion with the feminine. We got the Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck, the Six of Cups, and then there's the Divine Feminine, the High Priestess. And so he does have a battle ahead of him before heading towards the Divine Feminine, Virgo energy, Pisces energy. And so he is in the thick of the remembrance of this union. There's the synergy of the twins coming together. And I do feel unexpected emotions all over the place, unexpected rushing in to see the feminine, an outpouring of emotions, because he's got to break free. I feel he's been trapped in the truth of all of these emotions. They're about to burst on the scenes, because he's all done playing into the drama and the conflict is what it feels like. So let's get one last message from Spirit. I do kind of want to keep it short and sweet this week. I do have a busy schedule. So if you would like to book in, I do encourage you to check out the description box below. There you can find my email address, or you could check me out on Facebook, send me a message on Facebook. I would love to get that booked in for you. The final message for the twins this week is, first and foremost, the universe is constantly communicating with both the masculine and the feminine through the signs, through the syncs. So really pay attention this week to the signs and the synchronicities and what you're thinking about, what you're feeling about when they do appear. I do feel the masculine is learning a lesson in healthy boundaries, drawing that sand in the line when it comes to the karmic overstepping her role. And so a major necessary transition is happening this week for the twins. Allow it to occur, Divine Feminine, because we are maturing. We're recognizing these lessons. We're achieving all of this spiritual wisdom, and we're learning and we're growing and we're evolving, which is necessary as part of this process. And so we are healing the past this week. We're learning to enjoy the present moment so we can fully embrace the future of these divine unions. And so trust that you're protected as you go through any towering moments over the coming weeks. Do not worry. Give those worries to the angels. And that's what I have for the week ahead. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.